We're
I just
live now. We're
let me
good
really,
now.
sorry, I'm still watching. I'm watching the fight unfold. For everybody listening, I'm watching Annihilation to really get in the vibe of these movies,
Oh,
and I can't
God.
believe that the only fight that Sonya Blade gets into in Annihilation, like a big fight, is literally she gets in a mud wrestling match with Melina.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forget about that. He does get in the mud match.
Like,
I forget. I
no
don't.
wonder. Maybe that's why the lady who played Sonya in the first movie didn't come back. She's like, listen, I am not a stripper. She's like, I am
Yeah.
not just gonna throw myself in
See,
the
I
mud in a
don't.
white
I
t-shirt.
don't remember much from Annihilation. That's because it's probably. It's because it was bad. I do
It's one
remember
of
the
those
first
ones you
one.
want to forget. Like the cameos were
Yeah.
cool because they had
Mhm.
everybody.
They
Like
had
they
Reptile in
had,
that one, didn't they?
yeah. Well, Reptile was in the first one, so they brought back who was like the so they brought back like Sub Zero's brother,
Oh yeah.
Scorpion's brother, like all the alternate costume shit. They
Yeah.
had fucking Smoke and everybody in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it could have been great.
I mean, yeah, I think it was more or less people were banking on the nostalgia of the game or the hype of the game in itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like
Just,
the first one was like, I feel like the second one was a money grab. So first Mortal Kombat
yeah, that's what I'm
95.
saying.
Yeah.
The second one was definitely a money grab. Like the
Oh
first one was really pretty good, especially if they got the right dude to play Raiden.
yeah.
Which when second one, he's not in it. It's the dude that plays the Highlander. I forget his name. I have to look it up. It's gonna bother me. But yeah, he originally played it in the first movie and decided he was like, I will not come back.
He
You
probably read
know,
the script.
that's what he said. That's what he said. The script was horrible.
It's like, listen, you guys did a decent job on the first one. Anyway, we're here to talk about the new Mortal Kombat. I feel so bad that we've started off on all the other ones.
I mean, it's still tied in because we know at some point we're gonna have a comparison to what
Oh yeah, that's
to
why I've
what.
been watching them. I've watched every one except for. Did you know they put out a series on HBO Max?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was a web series though. It
Oh, it was a
wasn't
web
a
series. Okay, I thought it was an HBO
yeah.
Max series. I was like, oh
In
shit.
which everybody says that's the best. That's the best version of of the actual Mortal Kombat type of deal because it was like gory. It followed the stories. Like it
I
was
have to
to a
watch it. It's
T.
not too long.
No, I haven't checked it out yet, but I do want to check it out.
That's next on my list. I'm making it through all the Mortal Kombat's. It's been a struggle. So let's start it off first with what did you think of the new one? Good, bad? Like, what's your opinion? Because I feel like it's been super polarizing. You rather love it or you
I
fucking hate it.
I think it was okay. So I'm
Oh,
that
so the
weird
middle ground.
crowd because
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in film, so I know
Mhm.
exactly how things go. I think it's all right. It's not great. The reason why I say that it's not great is because there was very bad acting, but yet the action scenes and everything that happened was actually pretty good. Like there was some decent fighting, and I give you there were some decent cameos. You know what I'm saying? They went out their way to make sure that you had certain characters that wasn't in the
Did
original.
they though? I feel like they really pulled from the bottom of the barrel. They had
I know,
fucking
yeah, no,
General
no.
Raiko.
That's what I'm saying.
name
Yeah, that's what
name
I'm
me
saying.
one
They
time
probably
you've been asked like who's a Mortal Kombat character you can pull out of your ass, and somebody in the room said General Raiko, because I would give them $1,000 because there's no fucking way.
is he even in the games? I think
Dude,
he's just
he
in
is
the lore.
in. So he was in like Mortal Kombat, like one of the middle ones. I want to say it was like 4 or like the
Mhm.
one that they had a word instead of a number where it's like advanced or something. It was in that one.
Okay.
It,
Okay.
like he is a throwaway trash character that they put in for the story mode. He's one of those
Yeah.
people that like he's like Shao Kahn,
Hmm.
but he's got lesser abilities than Shao Kahn type of deal.
Well, I think he's like the same race as Shao Kahn, essentially,
I
because the
I'm
way
not
the way they
sure.
did Shao Kahn, the way they did Shao Kahn in this one is Shao Kahn is actually related to Goro.
Yeah,
If
they're
you
all
paid
part of a
attention,
lineage. So like
yeah.
if I remember correctly. Now I read all this last night because we were supposed to record last night and something happened. So it's not fresh in my head right now. But
Hmm.
like I'm pretty sure there's like a lineage that goes through like Goro was a prince of a different like
Yeah,
guess
him and
the Emperor
Shiva.
was having
Shiva,
like banging everybody and like getting
yeah,
different types of
Shiva.
people.
Shiva is a queen. She was the queen of everybody who, pretty much, like
Of Outworld.
pretty much
I'm gonna help
of
you
that
here.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Outworld.
yeah, yeah. She's pretty much the queen of that. So like, she's the queen. Gore was the prince. And then I don't know. I try to. I read some of it last night. It's not fresh in my head either.
Now,
But at
the more depending on where you caught it at, like that's what frustrated me most about this movie. I'm gonna let you know. We let you finish. I'm so sorry, right? You said your opinion right before I jump into mine.
Yeah. I mean, long story short, Long story short, it's like I like the fact that they're trying to tie in the lineage of like different types of like outworld people, because Shang Tsung is different, of a different lineage of the outworld. Then you have Shao Kahn and that whole crew, but they didn't. They mentioned Kotal Khan. You got to see a picture of Kotal Khan and Sonya's like board of shit that she had on top. So like they mentioned the lineages of each thing, which is kind of cool.
So here on Why So Nerdy, we approve of your own opinion and we don't discard people's opinion, but I'm going to spend the next hour telling you how you're wrong and how your opinions matter, because oh my god, this movie was fucking garbage. Like I don't understand. How long has Mortal Kombat been out? It's been out since I was a kid, since I've played video games, I feel. So
yeah, I feel like it's been out since
years.
we were. Yeah, I feel like it's since I was pooping in diapers.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say 30 years because I feel like that's close. That the newer games, I don't know if you've played the story mode. They're great. They're like a movie in themselves. And don't get me wrong, they're not like mind-blowing like surprises or anything like that. It's a fighting game, but there's a competent story in the movie or in the game. In this movie, they decided that they were just gonna not do any of that, none of it whatsoever. They're just gonna like throw a story together and try to make a new fucking character. Like, who the fuck is Captain fucking Plot Armor?
Well, I think I'm pretty sure that like, so from what I understand, he was a character that was like a throwaway character.
No. Cole is an originally made character for the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was originally made character for the movie, but there's like designs and stuff for, how in the games they did the lineage for each character too, where you have like Kung Lao's like grandson is part of that team, and then Jax's daughter. Then you got Cassie Cage. Well, originally he's the original made character for the movie, yes, but there is a tie-in somewhere in the lineage that they wanted to make for Scorpion and also Sub-Zero to pass on, because we had they had Bi-Han, and then they had the other one that we know that we're used to, the one that takes over the Lin Kuei. So essentially, they wanted to make like a lineage or follow up to a Scorpion's lineage as well.
Well, let me tell you, I'm super glad they did not make that into the video game, because holy shit. Captain Plot Armor was not fun to watch. He's the most boring character in the world.
He's very bland.
He has no story arc. Like, and it's weird because they set him up for a story arc. They're like, oh, he's going to overcome, he's going to find out how to fight and use, because do you remember when they're in the fighting ring and it's like, oh, you don't have any defense. You're all offense, Cole. And he's like, oh, yeah. And you're like, oh, so towards the end, he's going to learn, how to fight. And his I figured it'd be a offense, defense power, not a whole fucking suit of armor that he can't die in. Did you watch Melina fucking bop him up? And like, dude literally is like, if he didn't have that armor, he would have been dead 5 seconds in that fight.
Yeah, because it's literally a Wakanda suit. That's what it is.
Yes,
like he can
absorb and shoot. Black Panther's power. Yeah, and then they were like, "Well, let's give him tonfas." It's so sad, because they have. He's a very. I'm pretty sure he's from Borderlands, that TV show where it's like after guns were banned.
Yeah. It's
very
like
good
Into the Badlands. Into the Badlands. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like once again, it's a martial arts movie. The writing's not mind blowing, but it's pretty good. It's a very good show. But
Badlands is a great show.
Yeah, and he could have been something good. They could have gave him I don't know why they decided to make a new character, Mortal Kombat has more characters than I mean, fucking, I don't even think Marvel Capcom has a roster like Mortal Kombat. Like, dude, no,
Marvel
like
vs. Capcom
30.
has like two has everybody under the sun. So like that's like
Yeah.
a 72 people game. But
Like,
like
I'm
yes,
pretty
they
sure
did
Mortal
break
Kombat's
it
got more
down.
than 72. Like, Mortal
But
Kombat's been out, like, they're between the alternates and stuff like that. Like, if they put out everybody in one game, it'd be a nightmare.
well, yeah, because you got like 17 ninjas that are
Mhm,
all different ninjas. You got Rain, you got Smoke, you got Noob, you got
mhm.
Sub-Zero, you got Scorpion, you got
And don't forget
what
Cyrax.
you got Cyrax, you got Sector, you got who else? There's a bunch of
Oh,
them.
dude, we'd be here all
There's two,
fucking
and
day.
then there's also
Rain.
there's
Did you
two.
mention Rain?
Rain, no, I didn't mention Rain.
Yeah.
That's the one I wanted to say. But like,
No.
there's two versions of Smoke. There's not just one. There's two versions. There's a
Mhm.
robot version and a regular version of Smoke.
Yep.
So
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't, like, did you recognize most of the people they were fighting with? Like, I think there was like what it was. Fuck, I'm trying to think. Who was the flying bitch? Because I didn't even know who she was for a
Katara
second.
she was in one of the games, but
Yeah.
like she was in one of the games. I think as far as story was, and I think she's in one of the newer ones. Believe it or not.
Rather, they did such a bad job of bringing her to the screen that I don't recognize her. Like, because the name sounds super familiar, and like Shang Tsung was like all about her for the 5 seconds that poor woman had to be on screen.
Well, you know what? I just feel like she didn't just get it. I feel like Shang Tsung's. Now, this is one thing I do say that he's got a very weak like plot line. Like, you know, most of his story centers around. I mean, most of Mortal Kombat's story centers around him and Liu Kang and Raiden kind of battling out, and then all of a sudden the Elder Gods come in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like the beginning,
which is usually like the game and stuff storyline, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Because Shang Tsung is, well, as of recent, it's all been Elder God stuff. So it's all been about like, you know, Liu Kang becoming the fire god, Raiden kind of making sure that he fixes the timeline, you know, Shinnok and them, Quan Chi, which apparently Quan Chi is not dead, which is what I understand.
Death is a construct in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's not a real thing.
like Shang Tsung says at the end of this horrible movie, like he's like, you know, death is just another portal, which is true. Like they go to the nether realm. Like, fucking, how many times has Scorpion been dead?
Like, I mean, Scorpion's been dead. Scorpion's been dead multiple times, but like I feel like now he just has a free pass. So he's like, all right, cuz I'm gonna go chill on Earth for a little bit. I mean,
right? Yeah. Or like, I'm gonna go to hell for a little bit, go visit. You know, but I miss my boys. Yeah, somebody stabbed me.
Go down here and practice and train in the fire, and then come back and have new moves. Yeah, but I mean, like, so like that in itself was an insinuation that Quan Chi and Shinnok was going to be there, because you know Shinnok has like.
Well, they had the necklace. So powers. Yeah, they had the, I can't remember the name of the necklace, but they had it down on one of the tables that fucking Kano stole. Speaking of Kano stealing things, we have to talk about him. He stole the whole fucking movie, right? Like, he
was the best part of the movie. I'm not gonna lie. Like they played that part up well.
You know, it was so sad, like, because like I get that they sort of wanted to give everybody else a highlight, but is it just me, or did like Liu Kang have the weakest main character in the movie?
I think what they wanted to do with Liu Kang was to start his whole fire god arc, but it wasn't executed very well.
I was gonna say, was he a pussy before he became a fire god? Because he's always been a great fighter.
Well, I think they try to explore his story before, like they try to give him a sense of humility, like have a sense of humility in the old ones, right? But he's more or less like lost and doesn't understand what's happening. Whereas like in the new timeline, so remember in the new timeline when they come in, he's already kind of got an idea of what's happening and what he needs to do. You know what I'm saying? So they tried, I'm assuming they tried to pull from him branching into from the past and coming back in, and him knowing what's going on, and try to mix the two of those characters, because also the white sash with the red belt, he has that as a costume in one of the games.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like outfit or whatever, right?
Yeah. So it's like they just try to blend. They try to blend the two, and it just didn't really work.
Oh no, nothing. And like to go back to your point earlier, where you were talking about you enjoy, you know, you do film. and that's why you sort of gave it a little leeway. I feel like you should have cracked down on it more, personally. Like film
the only
wise,
reason why the reason why I say it's fun is because of the is because of the fight scenes. And like when they started like doing the team things, when they were like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna pick this dude and I'm gonna pick this dude. Well, that gives you a nostalgia sense of being like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna pick this dude and fight this guy. You know, homie's about to pick this guy and this guy. So it gives you it played heavily on the nostalgia factor.
yeah,
Like that
but
movie
like, did nothing else with it. Like so film wise, when you're directing something, you want to put plot lines in, and you want to keep a regular story. You tell me what the storyline was, Will.
Oh no, it was choppy. Like, don't get me wrong.
There's like three stories. Yeah.
every piece of that movie was like oh hey, what is happening here? Oh, okay, this is all right. Here, okay, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Also, too, which a lot of people have not realized, COVID restrictions when you're making a big Hollywood film has made it really hard. That's why you see, like, what was it? It was WandaVision. So WandaVision had the same type of suffering from the finale because they had to go by COVID restrictions. They had to cut a lot of the film out, or they didn't get a lot of time to shoot because the scheduling was weird. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Right.
So like part of that fault and part of that cutting and like trying to get the movie cohesively done has to deal with some of the COVID restrictions too, because that was mentioned when the director did the interview.
Yeah, but like even giving them that, does that excuse them for having such poor writing?
No,
like, and even such
no.
poor. Like,
I think really, if you just would have had more time and gave it more time and stopped rushing the film to get it done, which Warner Brothers is notorious for. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you don't rush the film and let them to develop, just like how Marvel, like they'll announce the project and they'll announce every step that's happening through the movie, but they give them time to develop the film.
Yeah. Like this one would be crazy. Like it had the potential to be like, because like the fight scenes, like most of the fight scenes, I won't give them all the fight scenes. Most of the fight scenes are great.
Yeah,
but like
the fatalities, bro. The fatalities.
No,
wait a minute.
Most of them. Kung Lao ones was fucking weak sauce.
What? No, bro. The whole hat. The hat.
Dude, I couldn't get
the buzzsaw.
So first off, don't get me wrong. Like it's cool that they brought the move from the game into a movie thing, but literally, like I was so mind blown from the fact that this was supposed to be like a cool fight between like a flying character and like Kung Lao, and I was like, oh, he's gonna use his hat. Like there's gonna be a lot of cool moves, and dude just surfboards her into a hat. Like I was like, come on, like that wasn't even exciting to watch. All that hype for this chick who's like, she is beautiful and she is deadly, and she goes into a buzzsaw. Like she literally birded into a window.
I think
5 seconds into the intro.
The whole entire movie, I was just excited the fact that they put Kung Lao in the movie. Now,
yeah, very cool.
Now, at the end of the day, I was not excited about his character arc. Why would you do that to that man?
Or when they fucking literally just force choke him and kill him within no fight whatsoever. Like does the Shang Tsung guy not have any fight training? I feel like he's from martial arts movies, is he not? I feel like I've seen him somewhere.
Who?
The guy who plays Shang Tsung.
He's been in a lot of movies. He's actually he's like, you know how you have those actors that are well known but you don't know their names?
Yeah.
He's one of those actors.
So let's get into the plot, because like I feel like I have to. One of the biggest things that threw me off of the whole movie was how negligent Raiden was.
Yeah.
Like literally, dude. All right. So
okay. All right. So here's my gripe about that, and here's my understanding about that. So we go back to the
let's get spoiler warning, obviously, before we get too
spoiler
far
warning.
into this. You're 19 minutes in. You should have known before you got here.
Yeah, if you ain't seen the movie, that's is fault. Okay, you dirty hoe. All right,
I'm not really 10 minutes. What you had like 10 minutes of us talking about like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 before we got into this. So you've had
and we didn't really go into the plot line, but we're about to jump into it. So boom, suck it. Anyway, but yeah, so like the plot line. All right, so you're thinking you get introduced to this new character, right? New character. who is trash, which we all assume Cole is trash. Cole was literally nothing but a plot device to push the story forward.
He's like
He
Black
was-
Panther
he was-
with no
He
combat
was
training.
the lowest. He was the lowest lane of the original Batman Superman cut.
Yeah, I can
He's
see
the lowest
that.
lane.
Yeah.
He's the lowest lane. That's what he is. So
It was weird watching them take a cool character from Marvel and turn them into one of the most hated people I've seen in a movie. Like, it's like, I like Black Panther. He's got badass moves and all, and the suit's a really good additive. And then all of a sudden it's like, when you punch me, I get tonfus. It's like, cool, I guess. Like, anyway,
I
you
mean,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
didn't his tonfus heat up too? So like,
he
because-
got extra power. So he did the Black Panther thing. When you punch him, he can transfer the energy into offense. So his offense is now his defense. Will, character development. And I'm doing hard air quotes. I know this is a audio podcast. I'm looking at Will giving him hard air quotes. Yeah. So I guess that was their character development for him. But anyway, you were talking about plot with Raiden. I'm sorry, I pulled us way off into the distance. I apologize. Go ahead.
Well, like going through plot in general. So like plot, we start with Cole. You get introduced with Cole. You see his story. He's basically a washed up UFC fighter. He used to be one of the greatest UFC
fighter.
Apparently,
he was probably like what's the
he was an MMA fighter, like a well-known, well-respected
like
MMA
or
fighter.
something. I can't remember what like the off-brand UFC is.
Yeah, I don't know what. Is it Bellator?
I think Bellator's sort of like popular. I was thinking of like an off-brand. Like the stuff I used to watch in Vegas where it was like, hey, we found two dudes in the parking lot. They said fuck each other up for $20.
Well, that's what he's in right now. Like when he's in the show. But apparently he's like this top prize fighter. He's had belts and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So like he's basically fallen from grace. We've seen that. He goes from that.
You don't know anything about, by the way. None of that came into the
story. They don't really explain it because Jax just automatically pops up and he's like, "What's up, bro? It's cracking. How you doing, bro? Hey, nice fight. Should have won that belt."
Yeah.
That's literally what happened. Should have won that belt.
Hey, bro, you should have did that thing. Yeah, hey, I liked Jax, by the way. Really good casting. That dude embodies that character.
Yeah, Mekhi Brooks actually fits that casting. Well, like. There's two characters that fits their casting well. Kano, Jax.
You didn't think Sonya was good? I thought she was one of the highlights.
There's a lot of people that have a whole lot of hate for her.
Really?
They don't. Yeah, a lot of people did not like the actress. Which mind you, we talked about wearing a bra. She didn't wear a bra the entire movie, but
yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Listen, but I am all for it. I'm just saying, like, I feel like when I watch, if we're referencing the beginning, if somebody forgot, but we're in Armageddon, right? Is the Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat Armageddon? I feel like she did it out of like they forced her to do it, sort of like the
Carrie Fisher about Annihilation. Thing. Sorry, not Armageddon.
Yeah, Annihilation. Yes, I'm sorry, not Armageddon. Yeah, Annihilation. Like she has that look of like she was forced not to wear a bra, like Carrie Fisher was. Like, which is a different story than like I chose not to wear one because fuck them.
Yeah,
like totally different vibe.
Yeah, totally different vibe. That was pure choice. But yeah, there's a lot of hate against her character. Some people think that she didn't play the character well at all, which I thought she did pretty good.
She was one of the few highlights. Like I said, I had a list of people. Like it was like I enjoyed Kano, I enjoyed Sonya and Jax, and I really liked. Oh shit, my brain just died. Fuck. Fast guy, Cabal. Thank you. Yes, Cabal. Super cool.
Yeah, Cabal's character was Cabal's character.
He's one of my favorite characters. That dude did a great job. Like. I was so glad to see him fucking, live and in action, even though, his fights were sort of weak sauce and he went out like a punk. But
he definitely went out like a bitch. He got flame dragoned.
And fucking
Flame Dragon
he
out.
kept slicing up Liu Kang with those swords, and yet it wasn't doing shit to him. Like, I didn't understand when they cut his arm. So like, I know Liu Kang's Liu Kang, and he's a badass, but like, don't start a fight with him getting cut up, and then all of a sudden show me 5 seconds later where he's like Wonder Womaning his swords with his wrist.
Yeah.
Like away, and I'm like, come on, man. Like,
I don't know. Well, let's get back on topic because we were talking about Raiden. Yeah, let's pull back on Raiden. But yeah, so you see that, and then you see the whole like he gets attacked by Sub-Zero. Mind you, Sub-Zero was a highlight of the show too. Like he was a good.
So I'd say his fighting, not his character. Like there's no character there. He's just
well. I think they did a good job. I wonder, and this is why I say they did a good job. And this is why I honestly think the first Sub-Zero that you meet in the storyline is like that. He's basically like an assassin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like the way he portrayed his character, like I don't give a shit about anything. You know what I'm saying? And I will kill you where you stand if somebody tells me to kill you, was kind of actually right on par with what the Sub-Zero was in the original game. Like in the old games. Like in the very old games.
Not to just derail over and over again. I'm sorry. I'm going to be doing this the whole time, and I apologize to everyone listening. I have so much pent-up rage, but I have to bring it up. Did you notice that not only does Sub-Zero both speak Chinese and Japanese in the very first part of the movie, I feel like he intentionally does not speak the same language as the other person he's talking to just to be a douchebag?
Yeah, that's why he did it. That's literally why that's what they say. So he says something about it in the movie while they're fighting. If you pay attention to what they're talking about,
he talks to Hanzo.
I don't know. He's like, I don't understand one word you're saying, but you can get this ass whooping.
Well, that's what Hanzo says. Scorpion. So Scorpion's like, I don't know what he's saying, like, and like Sub-Zero just keeps going, but literally 5 minutes before that scene, he was speaking the same language as his wife to his wife to ask where Hanzo was. So it's not like the man didn't speak the fucking language.
What? Like, no, he
what was that? What was the point of that?
He says something in Chinese to her though too. Like he says something to her like in Chinese, and she doesn't understand. Then he speaks the regular language. So
Japanese. Yeah, they speak Japanese. I believe Hanzo was Japanese. So they started off. He was speaking Chinese, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. They're like warring clans, yada yada. And then all of a sudden, you get to the next part, and he's literally, 5 seconds later, speaking Japanese to her. And then speaks the whole conversation. And then when he runs into Hanzo, where it's like, oh, they could have this amazing, talk down. And, we'll figure out what... Because, nobody that's played the games... Or nobody that hasn't played the games doesn't understand why the two clans are feuding.
Right.
And they did no effort whatsoever to have, that discussion. It was literally just like, I'm going to speak a different language so you don't understand me, and then I'm going to tell you, fuck your clan, and then we're going to fight.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if they meant for him to be Chinese versus like a Japanese type thing.
I don't even think they knew because they were just writing subtitles, and they were like, I think that was Japanese.
Yeah. This is right.
Right? Like, I was so confused. I thought I was seeing things. I had to do that several times during this movie because, I don't know if you noticed, and I'm sure it's because of COVID, but towards the end when they're fighting and they're in the big group, so they're all fighting in that one area. People just keep disappearing.
They do. They just disappear. Like,
so, and like I said, I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to shit all over that because I'm sure it had something to do with we can't have so many people on set while we're doing this, yada yada yada. But I thought it was weird when it was because she's CGI, I assume the bitch with the wings.
Yeah.
So when she flew in,
CGI.
I'm sure they flew her in on a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon flying rope, and did that last scene. But
she was on a wire,
but Shang Tsung and Sub-Zero were standing up against the wall, and then when she's flying around the arena, and you're supposed to get this bird eye view of the whole arena, fucking Shang Tsung and Sub-Zero are just gone. And I was like, they couldn't have them stand over there while they did this bird eye view.
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to that. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
But
I'm telling
yeah,
you, if you have not watched it twice, I beg you. I beg you to go back because it's not that I don't love. I love that you love this movie, and I'm not trying to harsh your enjoyment of the movie. But
hold
my
on,
God, is there so many
wait a
problems
minute.
with
I didn't
this?
say I loved it. I said
You
it was
said it was
okay.
okay. Yeah,
It's okay.
but
Remember,
still,
this is like we're talking on a scale of 1 to 10. This is like a 6.57.
you
Like
are
right in.
being very gracious with a 6.5.
It's. I mean, you got to remember, it's a fun. Like I said, most movies that are fun usually get that rating from most critics. So it's like a 6 or it's a 6 or a 7. But it's just
I do
because you
not.
have enough. You have enough to hold your attention to the movie. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said they did that very well because Kano keeps it funny. Like some of the action scenes are really cool. The whole mystique of Scorpion, which is that I do like that they did that. Like the whole
What
mystique of
mystique of
Scorpion.
Scorpion? Like they didn't really. They
Well,
just
like-
killed him,
well, like-
and then he's like,
Yeah,
maybe
they
he'll come
killed him.
back.
Yeah, they killed him, and then they were like, "Well, he's probably gonna come back." Then he actually comes back. But like that fight at the beginning and the fight at the end are great. Great
So that brings me to like my quick roundup of this movie because I was talking about it with a friend and we were discussing it and I was like, I feel like they made an amazing 15-minute movie.
Yeah,
And
well, I
they
mean,
went
it
and
gets
pitched
weird.
that
It
15
gets weird.
minutes.
It gets weird
Oh,
because
go ahead.
we skipped over Raiden, but like it gets weird because Raiden's like prominent role in the movie doesn't really like dictate. Like in the original ones, you know how his prominent role kind of dictated where they went next, how things were going, like how things were happening. Well, in this one, he's there, he's training them, but he's not really kind
He
of
did not
there
train
in the
anybody.
movie.
He was like, "Oh, hey, thanks for showing up, guys. I'm supposed to be looking for you all, but I'm glad
Yeah.
you guys showed up because Kano apparently ran guns through my temple a while back. Had no idea. I'm just the god of Earthrealm. Glad you guys are
Well,
here.
he
Maybe we can
mentioned
train
something
you."
about like he can't interfere with shit, which doesn't make sense.
But
'cause,
then
like,
he immediately interferes. He teleports everybody into locations to fight each other, which is a direct impediment of the whole process.
Yeah, true.
And then
Very
he
true.
teleports Sang Song out into the distance at the end of the movie. And then before that, in like the middle, sorry, I did this way out of whack, but I'm just sort of doing it fresh out of my head. But he also takes them all to a place to where he can't get to them, which you would think would be the greatest place to fight and train. In the void, remember when he takes
in
them
the
to
void, yeah, it takes it
Yeah.
to the void,
And it's like,
yeah.
Shang Tsung can't get here. It's like, why didn't we do this in the beginning of the movie? If you could do this in the beginning of the movie, fucking Kung Lao would still be alive. Like,
Yeah,
we would have all
everybody
our
was-
fighters.
everybody
Scorpion
would
would
be
have
there.
died.
Yeah, everybody would be there. Well, he goes and picks up. That's how the lineage is continued for Scorpion. I just feel like they really wanted to like staple down a lineage for Scorpion. Like
I don't-
they've done it with every other character in the damn game. They just feel like, all right, Scorpion gets his time in the movie.
Well, like what started this little conversation, I feel like they made a 15-minute movie about Scorpion Sub-Zero.
Mhm.
And then they were like, "Oh fuck, we spent all." By the way, this should piss you off as a film the director and in it being in the film industry. They spent $55 million on this movie. Will $55 million?
I mean, majority
and
of
we
your
got a
budget
15.
went. Majority of your budget went to fighting scenes. Like
But
that's
Even
that's
then,
all. That's all I went to.
man. All right. On that point, because I'm going to finish my statement eventually. I swear to God. Man with the Iron Fist, which is written by the motherfucking RZA, written and directed by the RZA, had better fight scenes, better storyline. The man wrote it himself. I love the RZA to death, but I don't exactly know him for his, theatrical writing capabilities.
Right.
Better writing, better fight scenes, everything. He had a $15 million budget. 15, Will, and he put out a better movie than Mortal Kombat with a $55 million budget. I feel like they
Well, you know,
spent all
it's
55
like I
million.
said, it's all like visual effects because you gotta remember
Even
when
then, they
when
had
you're
visual
presenting
effects
something like
in
that.
they had visual
They
effects in
did,
Iron Fist.
they did, but you know when you're supported by a high caliber profile like studio, you're going to get the best of the best. Which mind you, the CGI in this movie isn't all that great, but
No, like, well, all right. So the Scorpion stuff and like I said, the Scorpion Sub-Zero stuff is fantastic, and I
yeah,
think that's what they spent all their money on. And then they were like, "Fuck, we got $40 left. What do we do?" And they're like, "Oh, we should probably hire a writer." And they're like, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, we can probably get a writer for $40." Like, and then they made the rest of the movie. Like,
I don't know. The one thing it does suffer is from plot. Like I hope the second one, when they come out with the second one, is it just improves on the story. Please improve on the story. You're gonna have to.
Have you seen their casting list right now
For the second one?
Yeah, like who they want as Johnny Cage, and like, you know, I don't know. All right, so I have all my information from online
here's
sources.
the one casting list that I think that should be good is The Miz, because The Miz is literally.
I swear to God, Will, I was about to say, if you say The Miz, I'm quitting the podcast. I'm quitting right now. I'm putting my resignation in.
Don't quit. Don't quit. The only reason why. Hold on. Wait a minute. The only reason why I say The Miz is actually kind of like even remotely a good choice is because that's literally his character that he plays in wrestling. Like it's the same character. It's literally the same thing.
Do we want to make the movie worse? Do we want worse acting? Could you imagine dealing with the shit show that is The Miz, dealing on top of all of these serious actors?
Who can you get who can be a dick like that though? That's a serious actor and wants to be in that series.
I don't want to be that person because you know, he can't save every movie, but Ryan Reynolds would be a great casting for it.
He would be a great casting.
Now, do I want Ryan Reynolds in that movie? No.
That's the top two castings, though. That's the two people that everybody's talking about. Like, either The Miz or Ryan Reynolds.
Like, I love Ryan Reynolds, but like I said, he can't save every movie, and I just don't. It looks like from the poster, I was worried they got John Cena. Like, doesn't Johnny Cage look like John Cena in the poster?
Yeah, he does. But hey, apparently he did really good as the Peacemaker, which is a fit though.
Honestly, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't be excited because, you know, it's John Cena. But also, like, you know, with everything else, I mean, it's better than The Miz because The Miz is a shit show. Yeah. So that would work out. But like, I sort of want, like, I wish Bruce Campbell was younger. Bruce Campbell was made for that role.
He was. That'd be fantastic.
Like, Johnny Cage is like this like A-list, D-list celebrity.
Yeah.
Where it's oh, you know,
well, he becomes this A-list, D-list celebrity. Like you catch him in the beginning of the game where he's still kind of at his prominence, but then he just kind of
like he strikes me as Bruce Campbell, and I really wish Bruce Campbell was younger. But we need a Bruce Campbell-esque person, and we also need somebody who can do their own stunts because that's what everybody's been doing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, and that's one thing that's not celebrated about this movie, which I'm gonna tell you that. Like I think that's the only thing
I've been celebrating.
Yeah. Well, I know you probably have, but I don't think a lot of people give them credit that a lot of the fighters actually did their own stunts because of those fighters usually do their own stunts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of meticulous points where people are doing like the real shit. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense in itself it's really cool. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's why I said that's why I said it's an okay movie because you did have some really cool highlights as far as like trying to attempt to be original and trying to make sure the fight scenes were good because you did pick a lot of martial artists. Mind you, they also cast it right. They did the diversity thing on point. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because you got all Asian actors and everybody in Mortal Kombat is Asian. So like there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Even though, let me tell you, I do miss the Highlander as Raiden.
No, he wasn't really good.
He was great as Raiden in the first one.
He was great. He was great as Raiden. But like the casting and everything, like that's like I said, as a filmmaker, that's stuff that you look at. That's why I say it's an okay movie because they attempted to do the right things. It just didn't pan out very well.
I just don't think they did. Like personally, I'm not trying to shoot your opinion down, but like personally, I feel like they wanted to make a buck and they were like really passionate about these like fight scenes, and then they're like, oh fuck, we need a movie behind that. We could make a character on top of the thousands of characters that everybody would love to see in this movie. We can make an original bullshit character and ruin the rest of the movie. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. Let's fill everything else other than the Scorpion fight with shitty Cole. Who was, I feel like Cole was the, we'll call it the leash for the audience. It's like, come on, let's try to understand what we're bringing to you.
He's a true plot device, like 100%, just a guy to push the story through.
And
I just don't like
the story though.
That's what I'm saying. He was supposed to be the story. Like he was supposed to be the guy that sets the story up, where we go to next, where we move from. Although the one scene when Kano, when he gets mad about the egg roll, is hilarious. That is a great scene.
Where like it was Kano bringing that, not anybody else.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like that, in the sense, that was the only time he actually pushed the plot, is because he actually decided to find his powers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it still relates back to Cole, because it starts with Liu Kang talking to Cole, saying, "Hey, you need to develop your powers." You know what I'm saying? That shit was funny. Now, pass me like a fucking egg roll,
right?
Laser beams, fucking laser beams.
So on his eye, do we ever understand why his eye shorts out in the Sonya fight?
She threw so. Arcana,
yes, that's the exact answer. Yeah.
Like to put it in scientific terms, she threw, I think it's like alcohol or whatever. It's like a solution. It's basically strong, a little bit stronger than alcohol. She threw it on his eye, and when he went to go use it, it burned his eye, which
it didn't.
To me, it does not make sense.
No, it didn't. Burn his eye. It literally went bzz, 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 and then didn't work. It's not like it popped. Or I thought she threw like some flammable liquid, and when he shot it, it was going to blow half his face off.
Yeah, that's I was like,
I was like, we're going to get half face Kano.
Yeah, it was essentially that. I think it was absence is what she threw on his face.
It looked like it said acetone, but
acetone burns. Like it's basically strong as alcohol.
We work at acetone at work. Let me tell you, we use it pretty frequently, and it's not really something we worry about. So if that tells you how dangerous it is, it's just sort of like, don't open it near flames and try not to get it on you. But if you do, sure.
But essentially, isn't a laser beam just a really hot ass flame?
Yeah, but also, wouldn't it blow up opposed to just go bzz, bzz, bzz?
That's true. That's very true. I see what
that was my problem. It was like, oh, I got something in my eye, so it doesn't work now. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens in this movie. Like, God, let me get my phone because it gets weird. I'll grab it in a second. But when they drop off, so how did they find the temple, Will? Do you remember?
They end up getting through Kano. It's through Kano. Kano has the schematics to run through this temple, but
do you remember how?
Liu Kang just walks out of nowhere and finds them.
No. I'm saying like how Kano knew about the temple.
I can't recall right now.
He used to run guns through it. So Raiden is such a shitty person that he's just like, "Oh, you running guns? It's cool, dude. I'll talk to you later."
Oh yeah.
Well, you got a symbol? I should train you, but later we'll get to it.
Yeah, we're gonna just let you go through here and send those guns out, bro. But it was in a hidden section. Don't get me wrong. They did have to open a door to go into the temple.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you that. All right. So how did they get led there? Do you remember? They found each other in the desert, right?
Yeah.
So my favorite part is that they take a plane to fly to the temple. They jump out the plane and they land, and you're like, oh, okay, so they're going to walk 20, 30 minutes out into the desert, and then they're going to find the temple. No, Kano jumped out the plane 35 days of a walk away from the temple.
Yeah.
This man is a professional gun runner. He hired a plane so he knows people, and He jumps out with no provisions, no anything. 35 days away from the temple, he could have easily just flew over. It has an outside.
Yeah. Well, I don't
you
think
can see
I
it
think
from overhead.
Luke Kane's. I don't think there were 35 days. He didn't know where he was at. Is basically what it was.
Well, Kano
But I think
said it's 35 days that way.
yeah. Well, he didn't know. He was just like it was 20, 25, 35. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like shit. Still, like you think you would have got closer.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. Luke Kane just popping up out the sand was weird though. He was just like, "Oh hi."
yeah, he's just like,
Here I am.
I've been wandering the desert for the last few days. I'm glad you guys showed up.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
And it's just so it's just so weird, dude. Like he finds them randomly and then takes them. So all of a sudden, there's an initiative to gather these people together. Like it's been how many years since the last tournament?
I know Jackson Sonya story makes more sense because Jackson Sonya was trying to find everybody before that ended up happening. So I feel like if you ran with that and tied it into what happened as far as them getting into the desert, say if they were looking for a champion or they were looking for Luke Kane and Luke Kane found them, that would make more sense. You know what I'm saying? But that's just lazy writing. Yeah. That's all it is. That's just
the biggest problem. Like they put $55 million into this movie. And then they came with that. And that's what bothers me. Like if they would have spent, Man with the Iron Fist money, $15 million, we get back $20 million. Cool. Like they spent $55 million on this movie. And the last thing they thought of was like, oh shit, plot holes. Maybe we should have thought about that. Like, and not even little plot holes, like, Star Wars plot holes. Star Wars plot holes are big, but there's only like a
Star Wars plot holes are massive.
Yes, but there was a cohesive story, right? You felt a plot line and there was character development. In this movie, there is like no character development. The biggest character development was fucking Kano becoming a bigger dickhead. That was it. And like Cole figuring out that he can now just, fight without having to worry about defending himself. So he can just continue being a shitty fighter.
I mean, yeah. There's not much. There's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. So that's why I said there's a lot of like if you were to go down and break this movie, there's probably more bad than good. But there was a lot. I
have a list.
You have a list.
Yeah, I'm gonna spare everybody because we're 45 minutes in. I don't want to do that to people because they're probably sick of listening to me bitch. So let's talk about some good things of this movie. I've gotten my 45 minutes out.
So good things. Scorpion. Yes. Scorpion was definitely one of the highlights of this movie. Scorpion and Kano.
That first 10 minutes or what? Maybe 10 minutes of the film was
like the first 15.
Spectacular. Other than the conversation between, honestly, if Sub-Zero would have just showed up and fucked everybody up, it would have been better. And it was amazing. The fight scenes were great. Fucking that scene of him fucking everybody up with the shuriken and the rope, dude. Fucking my god, dude. When he snatched that dude from the chest and then broke his neck on the ground, I don't know how, if somebody was a stunt person on that or what they did. Amazing.
Yeah,
hurt. He was through the screen.
He was kicking ass. He was kicking major ass, and he's kicking major ass in the very end. But as somebody made the joke, he was like, "Well, shit, they can't. Sub-Zero and Scorpion can't fight unless they have katanas." Basically. Because they had katanas at the very. What did they have? Yeah, they had katanas at the very beginning. Oh no, he had the blade. He had the blade at the very beginning, and then they had the katanas at the very end because he had the ice sword and
yeah. But Sub-Zero disrespects him in the beginning and steals it and stabs him.
Yeah, yeah. But no, Scorpion. I think Sub-Zero is a good part of the movie. I feel like there's a varied opinion on that, but I think the no, I don't give a fuck attitude is literally how that should have been portrayed.
Like I didn't mind him in the movie. I thought he did great in his fight scenes and everything else, but just his character was weird. Like he's like, I need to stop the prophecy. I'm sorry, I'm shitting on the movie again. I'm gonna finish this statement, and then I'm gonna stop shitting on the movie. I promise.
No, go ahead and shit on it.
Like,
We already know your opinion.
he's like, he's like, I need to stop the prophecy. I've already killed the guy, but he doesn't fucking finish the job. Like, he shows up and fucks up Jax, and then just moves on. He's like, oh, Cole's not a big deal.
Yeah,
like it just keeps putting it off, and he doesn't kill anybody. Like he keeps like Jax. Why would you not finish that dude off?
I'm thinking him freezing his arms that he thought that he killed him is what I'm assuming.
You're telling me a professional assassin tore someone's arms off, froze them, and cauterized them. I mean,
don't get me wrong. He also threw Jax off a motherfucking cliff, and he hit the thing. So he should have died. Like if I was a normal human and you froze my arms, A, I'm already about to die. B, you threw me off this like 20-foot cliff. I hit rebar and everything.
Like you go into shock after you tear off your arms.
Yeah, you go into shock. But the way he hit that concrete barrier, my face would have been gone. So like he should have died.
You can survive up to like a 5-story fall. You'll be fine.
Oh, no.
Human bodies are tougher than you would imagine.
My arms are gone and my face has hit the concrete. I should die.
Now, whenever somebody picked him up, I don't know what happened. Somebody came and picked him up, I guess. But so maybe it was a quick, Sub-Zero walked out, dick out and everything, and then all of a sudden, all the monks ran in and fucking threw him on like the little. You remember from the old movies where they throw him on like the two sticks, little gurney. They hustled him out and ran all the way back to the temple. Because God forbid if Raiden fucking teleports people, that's against the rules.
Until it's not against the rules. They probably put him on a gurney, and he was like. and teleported him.
He can't interfere, Will, other than kidnapping a child and teleporting people at will. And
well, he didn't. Well, technically, I don't think he. I think it's just the combat in general. I don't think he can interfere with the combat. Like everything else, he's free game. But he was saying something.
Then why didn't he save Kung Lao?
That
was not a fight. Bitch, fucking picked him up and force choked him towards him.
And sucked his soul. His soul was gone.
There was 20 minutes of soul sucking going on. All right.
You've bitched. I'm going to bitch again. I'm a bitch about Shang Tsung. I am not a fan of Shang Tsung in this movie because he is nowhere near what the Shang Tsung that was in the original one. Like that dude had bowels and angst. Like that guy's amazing.
They suffer from casting on him. I think they just. Whoever wrote it, don't get me wrong, they picked it great for who they wrote him for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
He's some dude that's sort of here.
He's played a villain in multiple movies, and that was the right kind of fit for him to be in that type of character. But don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people were saying they don't like Raiden, but I like the Raiden. Like, I don't have a problem with Raiden.
Don't like Raiden?
Like, I don't have a problem with him. Like I guess I just don't have a problem with him is what it is. Like I like it's not that it's not that I like him or I hate him. I just don't have a problem with him. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that. So, he didn't really do anything. He was a throwaway character, weirdly enough, as being one of the biggest characters in the movie.
Yeah.
He was a throwaway. Well,
back to the highlights. So we said Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Jax.
Dude, I thought Jax and Sonya Blade were a great addition to this movie. Like I loved both of their characters. Yeah, I like Jax's character. Don't get me wrong. Like Jax, he has the full spectrum. So like he's badassery, bad one-liners. Then he's kind of mentally going through some shit. You know what I'm saying? Because he loses his arms and he can't figure it out. And then he ends up regaining his confidence with the metal arms, and he was like, "Yeah, these motherfuckers work." You know what I'm saying? Like so. His kind of character arc actually makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like he's actually a pretty little arc it was. Yeah, it's more of like a character step.
Yeah, the character step. Yeah. And like Sonya Blades, like Sonya's. I think Sonya. To me, I thought Sonya was a very good character. I thought the way they portrayed her was pretty good.
Yeah. So my biggest problem with Sonya, and it's not her fault whatsoever. This is a writer's problem. The writers made it out to where like everyone and their mom shit on Sonya Blade. Like every time she was in a scene, they're like, "Bitch, you don't have a mark. bitch, you don't have a mark. And
What did they say?
Like,
She is a it's something like she's like a threat, or she's not. She's a non-threat to what's happening, or she's a casualty to what's going on. They kept saying it through the entire movie.
She endangers the others with Arcana.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, every time she's like, here's literally exactly what we need to do, guys. Can we please do this? And then Raiden will look over and be like, bitch, you don't got a mark. And then everybody's like,
you
shut the fuck up, ho! And like everybody's yelling at her as she's like literally trying to save everyone. The only one who's trying to save everyone the whole fucking movie. Like, her and Jax are literally like, guys, we need to start doing this. And everybody's like, oh, thanks, Jax, for giving us that plan. I think we had a real problem with masculinity in this movie.
Yeah, because Kano was an asshole, and he was like a masculine asshole.
Yeah. But
he really was.
Like, she was great in it. Like, Melina was supposed to be good, and that ended up being bad. She's thick though, man. Oof.
Man.
She looked good. They should have made her look better, but you know, they should have put her in a different outfit. Is all I wanted. But you know, that's me.
Man.
Speaking of being, you know, too masculine, being an asshole about it. Yeah.
Man, but she was extra thick in that movie.
Oh yeah. But like, they didn't really do her justice. Like, they gave her like one fight scene. She had no character arc. Like, she's a really interesting character. She's a big part of the Mortal Kombat fucking, you know.
She's a big part of the story now.
She used to be. She's always been. She's a princess. She is the opposite of what Katana is. Katana's like the good, like, section of. She is, all right, so to put it in for the Marvel fans, she is the Gamora, or the what was the robot bitch's name? Is that Gamora?
Nebula. She was the Nebula.
Yeah, she's the Nebula to Gamora. There you go. Sorry, I had a brain moment. So like, she's the opposite. She's like the bad one. And they didn't even get that. They didn't bring a Katana in. They showed her fans, which was super bummer. Like, I was really hoping to get like a Bo Raichio. I feel like fucking who is it? Xiao Yun Fat would have made a great Bo Raichio.
Yeah.
Like, he's old enough now.
I feel like he should have been incorporated in this movie somehow.
Oh yeah. Who's that guy? Who's the heavyset guy from did you ever watch the Ip Man movies? He's a super famous martial artist.
Yeah, he's like one of the masters.
Yes. He's sort of a heavier set dude, but he's in every fucking martial arts movie because he's just a big boy who can fight. He's just done martial arts his whole entire life. And I think he would have made a great fucking Bo Raichio.
Like, he made a great Bo Raichio. Dude, I just feel like that's another thing. I feel like Bo Raichio and Raiden should have been working together, because if he's been trained by that, like, if we're going to talk about the temple, that could have been a thing.
There's so many characters. Like, they fucking brought in Nightwolf for 5 seconds as a cameo on a piece of paper. Like, one of the great fucking characters.
I really wish they would have used Nightwolf. I really wish they going to use Nightwolf in the future. Like, if that happens, that'd be dope.
That's the thing. I'm sure we're gonna get more people, but like, they just didn't do a very good job of introing this movie. Like,
I think I was talking to people on forums about it, and I think the biggest thing is that, like, they tried to do, and this is what it's not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? From the get-go, is that you try to do an introductory movie to like the main people. You see what I'm saying?
They didn't even intro the main people.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like they tried. What the movie essentially was supposed to be was an introduction to the Mortal Kombat world, the Mortal Kombat main focus of people. But yet you chose the wrong people to present that. You should have just went with the original crew. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Instead of using Cole, you should have just went with Cage. You should have just gone ahead and done it. But I feel like what they suffered from, and here's the point. What they suffered from was when they looked at casting, they realized that people are going to make a big deal about diversity in these films. Could you make Johnny Cage Asian? Yeah. And people would have been okay with that. Like, of course, you're going to have those periods that be like, oh, well, he should have been Asian, blah, 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 this and that. But at the end of the day, you could have solved a lot of issues with that by just making him Asian.
Even
Like,
not making him, you don't even have to make him Asian. Like, not that it's anything that would be a problem, but like,
yeah,
why do it? Like, there's plenty of diversity in this movie. Like, I don't think that was a problem in there. Like, and adding one white dude wouldn't have thrown off the balance, you know. Like,
I think in the grand schemes of like the studio, you see what I'm saying? Like, if you're looking from the top down, from your execs down, they were basically like, all right, well, we have to be considerate of realizing that we have to cast this way, and this is the way it needs to be. See what I'm saying?
But,
so I feel like that in itself had a play in the issues in the writing room, because they were like, well, we're going to produce this new character, and Cole's going to come in, and he's going to be part of the diversity
Liu
factor.
Kang and Kung Lao a bigger part, like they did in the original movie, because
they should have went the Shaolin monks route and let them two stay together.
Yes,
like 100%, because a lot of their storylines blend together through the whole entire goddamn thing.
Well, they're
together
the whole time. That's their thing. They grew up in the same Shaolin. They trained together. They helped train all the Earth Realm fighters. Like, yeah. I don't get how you take the two most important characters and you just go, hey, they've been in this temple for a while. Sorry, you guys just showed up. And by the way, I did not know until I looked up the casting that Cole was not white. I thought WB pulled a thing to where they casted some, like, because he looks mixed. He looks like a white Asian dude. maybe that's why WB made him. They're like, we need more Caucasians. You sort of look Caucasian. Yeah.
Bring the Caucasians.
Right? Yeah.
The Caucasians. Yeah.
It has Asian in the name.
But that's the thing. Like I honestly think that, like, there are many factors that now, looking at like how we are standing in present day of age, like movie studios and stuff are becoming more sensitive to that, because they don't want to break those barriers and cause controversy, because there's a lot of cancel culture based off of things that are happening like that. And cancel culture is a big thing. Like, you can just get shut down right then and there. That's it. There's no more. I bet Gina Carano, who I still think is hot, but I don't agree with her ideas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you got kicked off of Star Wars and you went on this whole tangent about, oh, well, I should have never been kicked off Star Wars, blah, 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 this and that, and I should have been in the Rangers. It's like, no, well, you aligned yourself.
Your contract, bitch, listen.
Yeah, you aligned yourself in a light to where people actually seen it and didn't agree with it, so they called you out on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
your public opinion is literally wrapped in your contract. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. So like when major studios do that, and for the sake of Mortal Kombat, which is what we're talking about, and from a film perspective, they're going to look at that sensitivity and make sure that they don't cross that barrier.
I just think they made it a bigger problem than it needed to be.
I agree. But like, a lot of studios have been doing it. It's like the Shang-Chi movie. Like, there was a lot of controversy at the very beginning.
Let's hope it's better than this movie.
I actually think it's gonna be pretty good. But there was a lot of controversy at the very beginning of the movie because there was an all Asian cast, and like they were bitching about the Mandarin being Asian and blah blah blah. Just like there was a whole lot of controversy because they were just getting a specific Asian developed movie.
They're doing an Asian themed movie.
And
they hired all Asians.
There was a true controversy about that. There was literally a controversy about that. People were flipping out.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So
I hate white people.
Yeah. So like but it fell in the grand scheme of things of being like, oh well, we're seeing all these diverse films and doing all this stuff, and that's the reason why we're seeing it is because they're trying to please the masses, doing this, blah blah blah. And remember, we were in Trump era at this point.
So that was the problem.
So that was a big problem. But like, now that we've seen the diversity, a lot of people are accepting it. A lot of people think that it's cool, you know. And that's one thing I'm glad. That's why I said one thing I'm glad about this movie, and one thing that this movie has done well, and one thing that's very big is that they use a very good diversity set of characters that could really portray their skills as well. You know what I'm saying? So you have these actors. They're not great actors. Don't get me wrong. So like Loudy Lin. All right, bro. Like Liu Kang.
Liu Kang sucked. Yeah, Liu Kang was Liu Kang was like the little kid who they hired who like whispers his
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Luke
Yeah.
Cage, you need to come out, and you say,
You need
"Bitch,
to,
motherfucker, I'm gonna fuck you up."
you
And it's
need
like
to
he walked out.
you
And
need to understand. He basically did. You know what? To me, he basically did a Bruce Lee impression. You need to understand.
he didn't even do that though. Like at least
You need to understand. Listen, Mike. You need to understand that we are training to save the earth. That's
Listen,
literally how he talks.
But all right, so Bruce at least said it with affliction, though. You know, he couldn't
I mean,
speak
but
very
that's
well
how-
English, like or I can't speak very well English. My God,
That's how
he didn't
Bruce-
speak
that's
very
how-
good English.
That's how Bruce Lee talked. Like
Yeah.
we get it. Like that was Bruce Lee's real, like true essence. But like it was like a fake pseudo. Like, listen here, sir. You must learn how to do this and learn your arcana.
But it wasn't
I
even
can do
that
that
though.
voice.
Like it was like he was
I
like
can do that
whispering it in the background though. It was like you need to tell him that he needs to get his shit together. And he's like, you need to get your shit together. And it's like, can you give it?
You need to get your shit together.
Can you give us one more with some fucking volume?
Yeah. Well, Kung Lao was more. I'll give you this. Kung Lao was more the assertive one, which was kind of cool.
Which is supposed to be his role, as they were trying to do it. I'm sorry, everyone. Everyone that's listening. I'm gonna start bitching.
They were trying to pull basically from like Shaolin monks, where Shaolin monks, he is. If you play that game, he is technically the more assertive one. He's like, bro, we got to get this done. We need to do this. And Liu Kang's like, hold on, bro, we need to figure this out.
He's a direct lineage, and then sorry.
Whoa!
Yeah, sorry.
Look at that. Look, Mike has the phone going off this
I know,
time.
that's the first time.
Uh-huh.
Second time. I remember I had a vibrating problem once, but that was a different story.
We don't want to know about your we don't want to know about your vibrating problem.
Anyway, like my biggest problem. Oh my God, where was I? Will remind me.
We were talking about Kung Lao. Kung Lao and his lineage.
He's a direct lineage. So Liu Kang was brought into the monastery, not born there. At least from the last time I played a Mortal Kombat movie through the story, or Mortal Kombat game through the storyline. So Kung Lao's like the direct descendant. He's supposed to be like the big hero, but you know, Liu Kang sort of takes on that role and moves on that way. Like
they say that Kung Lao wins the tournament. So like in the original timeline,
his
father
or like one of his descendants. Kung Lao's not the Kung Lao that won the tournament. Kung Lao, the original, won the tournament. He is a direct descendant of the winner of the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's the line. That's why he's like
that's in the movie. But I know
it's also in the games. In the games, Kung Lao's like, I guess like however his lineage went on,
because they have
the tournament.
The Great Kung Lao, which is like the whole lineage where it started. Then you have
Kung
Lao,
and then you have him. Yeah, and that's why he got the hat. He got the hat from someone else. Is my daughter still in the bathroom? Sorry, they're playing in the bath, and it's been like an hour. She's probably like a giant prune.
Oh man, it's really fantastic. Yeah. Well, we're at 107. We can go ahead and just kind of wrap up. And
I have so much more for this, but yeah.
So questions. What do you expect from the second movie, man? Like what?
I want them to spend more time.
I personally hope that they do it better. Like I just hope that you actually spend more time and develop the script and make sure it's a better movie, because a lot of people are going to bitch and complain about this first one. You got a lot of people bitching and complaining now, but you got it. I mean, it's like a Man of Steel effect, if that makes sense. Like that's why I said WB has a really bad problem at doing this shit.
Will even defend the Superman movie that I hate and say that was at least a better movie than this.
No, I agree. But here's the thing. It still had a mixed review. See what I'm saying? So like WB's problem, once again, even with the Snyder Cut, it's the same thing. You have mixed reviews. You have people who really like it, and you have people that really hate it. So you lose a lot of your audience based off of, you know, shit that you keep fucking up. So to be honest, I really hope they give full creative control to whoever's trying to do the project and stop dabbling in what they should do. Like sometimes
depending
I feel
on
like
if they're the one that made the call or not on this one.
True. No. Well, WB had a big hand, from what I understand. But this, and you got to remember, this is also still in the time span that, like, because Mortal Kombat was introduced like last year or the year before. They had talked about making this movie.
Yeah.
So this is still in the time span where, like, we're finding out, like now we're finding out all the information about the Snyder Cut, where like WB was basically the culprit of why that movie was shitty.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So
they need to give creative control to whoever made the Scorpion and Sub-Zero storyline. And then whoever made Cole as a character needs to be fired.
Yeah.
Like, they're done. Cole's not going to be in the next one.
I feel like you need to incorporate some people from the original. Like, take Ed Boon. Get Ed Boon in there. Like, dude, drop him in there.
Was he not involved in this? I hope not.
He was slightly involved as far as being rights to character. So, like, he was trying to explain to them how the characters should be. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I hope he was in the room for when they pitched Cole. I really do.
So
I can be like,
he's probably sitting in the room like, what the fuck is this, bro?
Do you know how many characters I've already made? Do you know the backlash I've caught from trying to make an original character? And you go ahead, bro. 30 years, you go ahead and you do you. Like, yeah, you go ahead and you get yelled at for this movie. I'm not involved. Don't put my name on that character.
But yeah, I just honestly think that, like, you'll have to. It depends, man. Like, they need WB as a whole, because it's not just a Mortal Kombat problem.
Yeah.
As a whole, needs to go the Marvel route. Like, if you got DC movies, or you got some movies that have, some type of action lineage, like Mortal Kombat, let them do it. Like, you've seen those series. You've seen Invincible. When people give Invincible, which we're talking about here soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be if not next week, the week after.
Yeah, they gave them full creative control. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, full creative control. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not even talking about Marvel movies. Invincible is a whole different thing. The Boys. The guy has full creative control. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, give them Judge Dredd, like a cult favorite that everybody loves. They had full creative control. Like, let them be able to develop that film in the way that they want to develop that film. If it's shitty, then that's on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but stop interfering in what people are trying to have as a vision. Because now we're looking at this whole restore the Snyderverse thing, and, like, believe it or not, I mean, most people don't realize it, but the Snyderverse could have been great. Like, there could have been a lot. There could have been a lot of great things, especially the Flash. The Flash in Justice League set up everything for him to be that almost lead character for everybody to love. That would have been your Robbie Downey Jr. of DC. You know what I'm saying?
Which I'm way into. Yeah, I love the Flash.
Yeah, so it's like, stop sticking your hand in something where I get that you have control over it, but let them do it. That's why Kevin Feige's so successful. That's why.
Yeah. All right, like, what I want for the next movie, better characters to deal with. Yeah. God, we need someone who wants to actually win this tournament instead of a fucking a god who's just sitting in a room for the last God knows how long. That wasn't even his mom that he fucking took in the baby. That wasn't even like, his mom's dad, right? Like, that was like way earlier, right?
Yeah, it was like way earlier. Like, you talking about, right, when Raiden picks up the baby and takes it to the temple?
Yeah.
Well, like, the baby, it was Scorpion's daughter?
Something like
that. Yeah, it's his daughter.
Yeah.
Scorpion, yeah.
Yeah, it blows my mind. So I want that. Like, I want to figure out what's going on with that whole situation. God, what else? Better story. Like, I understand they're trying to build this big universe, but why not explain it instead of half-ass it? Like, they wanted to do something that built a framework for a trilogy, and what they did is that they tried to, like, they millie-explained it, where you start telling a story and then you end up over here somehow about the thing we did 3 days ago about the swing. Like my
Yeah.
daughter does this where she's like, and then we do this, and then we went on a swing, and then I was like, dude, that was like days ago. Like, why are we talking about that? Yeah. Like, I feel like I was that my daughter may have directed this movie, but I just want a cohesive story, and like, you know, if you're gonna get into lore, fucking do it. Don't give me a crazy conspiracy board and half-ass tell me about it. Give me the lore, build a story. Like, stop. I don't know what the problem was with them going through and was like, oh, well, we want to do all this, but you know, people don't want to listen to that. It's like, that's what we came here for. Like,
Yeah.
I came
As
here
usual,
for a
as a-
trilogy setup, and you're giving me a one movie that, you know, I hope never turns out again. Like,
Yeah. Well, kudos to them for at least getting a sequel. That's
Yeah.
I give them kudos for that. Like you
someone
did
gave
enough.
them more money.
You did enough. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully you achieve this next round of whatever you want to achieve. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. Is
Sorry.
that our guest star?
Millie has emerged from the bath.
Ah.
I know you take bath all the time.
All right, man. Well, let's wrap this up.
All right,
All right, guys. Let's give the rundown.
My timer has
Millie's
run
in the
out.
background. Yes. Let's go ahead and get the wrap up and nail it down, my man.
Oh God, I apologize for this episode, everyone. You can find us on Facebook. We got Twitter. We have our TikTok that is live and active now.
Yeah,
check
dude.
us
And
out
we getting followers. Like we're actually getting
Yeah.
pretty decent.
Not many, but I mean, we got some. Yeah.
I mean, we got some ideas though that are in the works.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Next time I see you, we're gonna
Yeah.
do that couch idea. I'm telling
Yes, yeah, I'm definitely down. What else? We are on God, all the podcast streaming things. I've lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I'm watching my daughter sprint around the house.
you. So yes,
Did I
we're
miss anything?
all
I'm so sorry.
no. So we got the Patreon. We got
Yes, the
Facebook, we got
Patreon, the big one. Yeah,
the
Please
big
go support
one.
us. Yeah.
Yes, please. Remember, $5 tier, $2 tier. It's not expensive. You get free shit.
Yep.
There you go.
Free stuff.
And then, like I said, we have
I
a
will
Twitter.
get you
Oh, hold on.
diaper.
The ending of this is just going crazy.
I will get you a diaper.
Yes.
Sorry, we got Maggie
All right,
baby
guys,
running around the house.
Yes. So you heard the runs. You already know what we're talking about if you listen to the episode. So yes, we love you guys. We're gonna head out of here. Millie,
Say bye, everybody.
say Millie, say bye to everybody. Yeah. All right, guys. See you later.
Nerdy?
I tell you.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. All right, guys. Love you guys.
Peace.
There we go.
go.